we'll run out of storage. Okay, we're starting to record. Okay, so I've got some awesome people to recognize. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go ahead and get started with tonight's call. Go over here real quick. Oops. And you know what? If someone has like a free second, would you mind going on Team Abs and seeing if anyone's struggling to get on and make sure they're directed to the proper link? Because I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I don't even know when the 22nd is. Oh, you know, that's the day that I created it. So I must have not switched the date. So, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Here we go. All right, can you guys see the slides? I'm going to make them bigger for you, hopefully. Can you see them?
Yep.
Thank you, Steph. Okay, so the announcements. We are having a 3-day volume training, August 29th. So this is going to just be 3 days. It's going to be volume, and I wrote down the things that we're going to cover, and I don't have it in front of me right now. Oh, yes, I do. So it's going to be, the first day is going to be what is volume and kind of explain about volume. The second day is going to be creating volume goals. So you guys are going to work backwards to create those goals. And then the third day is going to be brainstorming ways to create volume. So it's going to be really interactive and kind of more like hands-on. It's not, the first day is going to be information, and the second, third day are going to be more hands-on. You must be an Emerald or above by Monday to be in that training, because volume has to do with a team. And if you don't have a team, then it really doesn't apply. So that is like no exceptions, must be Emerald by Monday. If you're not an Emerald right now, I'm giving you enough time to be Emerald. So there's the New Coach University starting September 5th. And if you aren't in this, having any coaches in this New Coach University this month, it is going so well. Those girls are rocking it out. And I am looking forward to September, getting the ball rolling with that. If you are new or you're just jumping on, or you're a newer coach, what it looks like is the first 5 days are kind of posts that are – can you guys mute yourself? Sorry, I'm getting some background noise. Some posts that are just like about coaching, and then the rest of the month is self-paced at your own pace, making sure that you follow the trainings that we give you. So then we encourage everyone and track everyone. And this, I'll get into the next slide and tell you how well they're doing, because I'm so excited for them. Anyway, so that starts September 5th. If you want in, you need to message me and let me know. I'll also be, once I create that group, I'll also share it in our team page, or you can add yourself in, whichever way is easiest for you. Push to Emerald group is starting September 5th as well. So there's something to plug everyone in. If you were in the August New Coach training, then roll yourself into the Push to Emerald training. If you are already an Emerald, and maybe you're even a baby Emerald, still go into that Push to Emerald, because I'm going to show you more like how to do work stuff, everyday work things. And then the Push to Diamond starts September 5th too. So there's something for everyone to get plugged into if you want your business to push. Also, the 3-week yoga retreat is happening so soon. Stephanie and Courtney and Jen, I know you guys have been already planning some great stuff. So actually, Jen, do you want to talk a couple of seconds about what you know about the yoga retreat, when it starts, and all this stuff like that? And you guys can go to FAQ 5035 for all the details.
Yeah, so they're doing a 3-week yoga retreat on Beachbody On Demand. So all your on-demand customers can access it. And then what I'm doing is, or what we are doing as a couple of us, is doing a free group. So getting people to sign up for that free 30 days of BOD in order to access it. But they have 4 different trainers. And so each of the 3 weeks is going to be one different trainer, and then on the weekends they have another trainer. And
does anyone else, I have maybe watched The Bachelor or Bachelorette 2 episodes in this whole entire world of Bachelor, but Vetus, that's on there. Wasn't that a guy on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette? How do I know him?
I think it is because because I don't watch it either. Not because I don't want to, I just don't have time. But I saw a preview from the yoga retreat thing, and he said, yes, from The Bachelor.
Oh, okay. I thought I recognized him. I'm like, that's so strange. But
Yeah.
Sean, that like these guys like had episodes close by. Oops, sorry. But Sean was also on Body Beast. So I wonder like the kind of connection that they have, Beachbody and okay. Well, thank you, Jen. And the other thing is if you guys don't know how to give them a direct link to sign up for their 30 days of free Beachbody On Demand, go to the coaching codes. I'm going to stop the share real quick to show you guys. Go to the coaching codes. And you guys see here. No, yes, here. If you don't have this app, you need to download it. You guys can all see your reflection, that one right there. Can you guys see this blue one, coaching codes? These are the two ones that I use all the time. And this one right here, if you click on it and then it loads and this is the cool part, you can put your ID number in here and then you can click US or Canada depending on who you have, click enter. And then it will take you to all of these things. And then you just do down here where it says Team Beachbody Club. And then you have all these options with it, but it's this last one, Team Beachbody Club. And then all you have to do, like this one's just copy it. It copies the link for you. This one's like, send it in an email, and I don't know what this is. You can play around with it. And then you just send them that link and they fill out everything. So super easy. Okay, I need to charge my laptop here.
Oh, and one more thing about the yoga thing, it's for beginners. Like they're really focusing on beginners. So those people that are not, are
They're
nervous
timid
or whatever. Yeah. So that's one important thing about it.
People that like skip their yoga program, like me today, I was on P90X day 3 and they're like, do yoga. I'm like, nope, sorry. Hi, Alex. Okay, so let's keep screen sharing here. Thanks, Jen. Okay, and then we're doing the Health Bet Challenge. That's FAQ 4477. And if you guys don't know how to, that's starting September and going all the way to October 1st. And there are some coaches, if you've been following, that have been posting and saying, like, win your money back from your challenge pack. Please, please, please do not make any claims like that. This all depends on how many people qualify to win the portion of the money. It could seriously be like $2. It could be $100. Like, you have no idea. But what you do is you log 3 workouts a day and not a day, goodness gracious, 3 workouts a week and 5 Shakos a week. So check FAQ 4477 for all those details. Again, if you're checking that coach FAQs, you need to go and log on to teambeachbody.com, then go to coach online office, and then check the FAQs. Don't go to teambeachbody.com and then go down to all the way to the bottom and check FAQs, because that's going to be the customer FAQs. So how to promote: do live videos, talk about it, Facebook events, Facebook groups. You can send invites to those who have bought challenge packs this month. That'd be a great way to say, hey, you already bought a challenge pack. Do you want to join this group with me and potentially make some money? Send out e-cards in the Coach Online office. If you guys don't know how to use that, it's a really great tool to go and learn how to send out e-cards. They just blast the email to all your contacts or all your customers in the database. And then you participate. You guys can win money too. So set yourself up a group, join up with another coach, and help your challengers get some great results and win some money. Okay, moving on. The July top coaches. I am really excited to announce these 3. So Melanie Blackburn is my personally sponsored coach, top coach of July. So let me tell you, this girl killed it. So awesome. And then Rachel Hoffman is all of Team Abs. All of Team Abs, guys. Like, we have over 250 coaches plus, almost 300 coaches. And Rachel Hoffman is the top coach in our whole organization. So if you have a second, guys, you should go make her day and jump on Facebook and tell her congratulations for the top coach of the month. Like, that is a huge, huge honor. She's really kicking butt, working hard, and working on herself to be product of the product. If you guys don't know much about volume, last month, Rachel had over 2,500 personal volume points. And then she had 22 Success Club points. So amazing, amazing job. But I had to get a huge honorable mention to Mikhail, because this girl, in her first month in July, she signed up in July. This was her first month. She had 1,425 volume points. Plus, she had 18 Success Club points, and it was her first month as a coach. So honorable mention out to Mikhail. So congratulations, Rachel, Mikhail, Melanie. If you know them, they're in your organization. Give them a big, great job, and make sure you show them some love. Okay, this week, top coaches, Jennifer Weinhardt for my PS coaches. She's killing it. And then also, obviously, Mikhail is still up there doing amazing. And I love Mikhail's picture right there. Total product of the product, baby. And then honorable mention goes out to Jenny Hanks and Christy Ahrens. You two were right up there with them, really close behind. I'm only giving honorable mentions to those that are like super, super close. So good job, girls. Christy Ahrens just signed up 2 coaches yesterday or today, so that's why she's getting thrown up there too. She's really kicking butt, and I'm sure she will be diamond so very soon, because now she's practically there. So congratulations, ladies. All right, now I want to congratulate our August Joes leaders. And if you're not in our group, you're not going to understand what Joes means, but I thought I was being really creative and I forgot the language. It's like an African language where Joe means like doing it together, like togetherness. And that's what our Joes are, August Joes, doing it together. So Hannah Long and Juliet Lemus, hopefully I'm pronouncing it right, you two have completed the trainings all on your own. And this, like I said, it is self-paced. These are motivated girls ready to rock their business and putting in the work and the time and diligently doing what they've got to do to make their business run. And you guys deserve a huge thumbs up. Congratulations to you two especially. And surprise, surprise, they've already hit Success Club. Isn't that crazy what you do when you actually plug in and do what we ask you to do? You see results. So Juliet and Hannah have both hit Success Club month 1 for Success Starters. So, and also Jessica Whiteley, I think that's how you pronounce her name. So Juliet's sponsor coach is Michaela, Hannah Long's sponsor coach is Kelsey, and Jessica's sponsor coach is Maureen. So not only are those girls doing well, but Maureen, Kelsey, and Michaela are encouraging them, and they're the ones helping them and working with them to get their goals met. So good job to you guys as leaders as well. And then the other 2, Jenny and Jamie, are pushing for Success Starters as well. And Michelle and Michaela are working with them. And so we're hopefully going to get them to hit their month 1. Month 2 Success Starters this month who are working on their month 2 is, Michaela, I forgot the E. Both E's, weird. Okay, so Michaela is on month 2, and she's already qualified. She's hit Success Club. And then Brianne Garcia, as of this morning, guys, I pulled all these reports this morning. So Brianne is a couple of points away from hitting her month 2 as a Success Starter. And congratulations, a huge congratulations to Chelsea Seitzer. That is so, so hard. She just had a baby like 5 days ago, and she hit our Success Starter for July, and that was her month 3, and now she's going to New Orleans for free. Not only that, but she's changed a lot of people's lives, right? So very, very cool. All right, guys. And now I just want to get into the heart of everything that I was doing. Am I screen sharing still? No? Yes?
No, you're not.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry. Okay, so this is before like I started about building your story, but I was been doing a lot of personal development, a lot. But first of all, if you haven't seen my live video, this is an amazing book. If you haven't read it, and especially for all you baseball wives out there, like look at all of my highlighting and my like dog tag like pages. Every single page has something on it. It's so good. But it's called Whatever the Cost. And it is like more of a faith-driven book, but I feel like it can apply to anything, like whatever the cost. If you tell yourself I have a goal, whatever the cost, I'm getting there. It's facing your fears, dying to your dreams, and living powerfully. It'll change your life. It's so good. But I was watching this clip, and I will share it with you guys. But through that clip, I found another video, and it's this lady, and you might have seen her on a TED Talk, but she talks about this special thing that successful people have, and it absolutely separates you as a successful person and a talented person not being successful. And she said the most successful people have this. It's called grit. Have you guys heard of that? Have you learned about grit at all? Well, grit is what she said is people who are successful have grit, and grit is defined as they keep going after failure. Are you someone that keeps going after failure? They're constantly driven to improve. If you aren't constantly driven to improve, you're not going to be successful. They persevere, which means it's not always going to be pretty. Are you a perseverer? Is that even a word? Do you persevere? This is interesting. She found that they never feel good enough, which I know a lot of people can feel like that is a curse because you always feel like you have to rise up and meet certain expectations. Because that's me. I do feel that way a lot of times. Like I don't feel like I'm ever good enough for somebody. And I know that the Lord can totally change that in your life and make you feel like you are good enough if you know it, who you are through him. But that little thing in your mind actually makes you be more successful because you're not complacent with where you are ever. The other thing was you are chasing a dream, and the chase of the dream is just as gratifying as the actual capture. The other one is they have passion, but not only they have passion, but they're enduring. Their passion is enduring. So as soon as times get tough, they still find that passion somewhere. And they're ferociously determined. They are unusually resilient and hardworking. They knew in a deep way what they wanted. So again, if you don't know what you want in this business, that grit's not going to be there for you. And then they had determination with direction. They knew where they were going. They knew how to get there. They had a plan. And then the other thing is they had a combination of that passion and perseverance. They never gave up. So I thought that was pretty neat to like kind of like just tell yourself. And I can post a picture in our team page if you feel like you need it. But you know those days where you're like, like I'm just not good at this, or is this ever going to work? Okay, grit, read it. Are you practicing those things? So I'm going to pull up her little video, her TED Talk here. It's so good, guys. Okay, and then now I'm going to go ahead and screen share. If this doesn't work or if something's screwing up, will somebody just scream at me because it's gonna be kind of loud. If it's too loud, sorry. I don't know. We're gonna try this.
I don't understand you. Always working all the time, busy.
You see? Thank you.
When I was 27 years old, I left a very demanding job in management consulting for a job that was even more demanding, teaching.
Woo woo.
I went to teach 7th graders math in the New York City public schools. And like any teacher, I made quizzes and tests, I gave out homework assignments. When the work came back, I calculated grades. What struck me was that IQ was not the only difference between my best and my worst students. Some of my strongest performers did not have stratospheric IQ scores. Some of my smartest kids weren't doing so well. And that got me thinking. The kinds of things you need to learn in 7th grade math, sure, they're hard. Ratios, decimals, the area of a parallelogram. But these concepts are not impossible. And I was firmly convinced that every one of my students could learn the material if they worked hard and long enough. After several more years of teaching, I came to the conclusion that what we need in education is a much better understanding of students and learning from a motivational perspective, from a psychological perspective. In education, the one thing we know how to measure best is IQ. But what if doing well in school and in life depends on much more than your ability to learn quickly and easily? So I left the classroom and I went to graduate school to become a psychologist. I started studying kids and adults in all kinds of super challenging settings. And in every study, my question was, who is successful here and why? My research team and I went to West Point Military Academy. We tried to predict which cadets would stay in military training and which would drop out. We went to the National Spelling Bee and tried to predict which children would advance farthest in competition. We studied rookie teachers working in really tough neighborhoods, asking which teachers are still going to be here in teaching by the end of the school year. And of those, who will be the most effective at improving learning outcomes for their students? We partnered with private companies asking which of these salespeople is going to keep their jobs and who's going to earn the most money. In all those very different contexts, one characteristic emerged as a significant predictor of success. And it wasn't social intelligence, it wasn't good looks, physical health, and it wasn't IQ. It was grit. Grit is passion and perseverance for very long-term goals. Grit is having stamina. Grit is sticking with your future, day in, day out, not just for the week, not just for the month, but for years, and working really hard to make that future a reality. Grit is living life like it's a marathon, not a sprint. A few years ago, I started studying grit in the Chicago public schools. I asked thousands of high school juniors to take grit questionnaires, and then waited around more than a year to see who would graduate. Turns out that grittier kids were significantly more likely to graduate, even when I matched them on every characteristic I could measure, things like family income, standardized achievement test scores, even how safe kids felt when they were at school. So it's not just at West Point or the National Spelling Bee that grit matters, it's also in school, especially for kids at risk for dropping out. To me, the most shocking thing about grit is how little we know, how little science knows about building it. Every day, parents and teachers ask me, how do I build grit in kids? What do I do to teach kids a solid work ethic? How do I keep them motivated for the long run? The honest answer is, I don't know. What I do know is that talent doesn't make you gritty. Our data show very clearly that there are many talented individuals who simply do not follow through on their commitments. In fact, in our data, grit is usually unrelated or even inversely related to measures of talent. So far, the best idea I've heard about building grit in kids is something called growth mindset. This is an idea developed at Stanford University by Carol Dweck, and it is the belief that the ability to learn is not fixed, that it can change with your effort. Dr. Dweck has shown that when kids read and learn about the brain and how it changes and grows in response to challenge, they're much more likely to persevere when they fail because they don't believe that failure is a permanent condition. So growth mindset is a great idea for building grit, but we need more. And that's where I'm going to end my remarks, because that's where we are. That's the work that stands before us. We need to take our best ideas, our strongest intuitions, and we need to test them. We need to measure whether we've been successful, and we have to be willing to fail, to be wrong, to start over again with lessons learned. In other words, we need to be gritty about getting our kids grittier. Thank you.
Good, right, guys? Yeah, I love that. So that's my quick little tangent. And now we're going to go into sharing your story. But I know that some of you, you've been talking, you've been saying, I've been out of it for a little while. How do I jump in? Or I've fallen off a little bit, and now how do I get back in? Or it happens to us all, like myself included. So let's buckle down for the rest of the year and get gritty with it. Getting gritty with it. Nikki, I'm waiting for you to bust out your moves because you're always the one that dances. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm going to somehow make myself disappear. Not my face. I don't know how to do that. I'm going to try. Oh, can you see me? You can't see me anymore, can you? Okay. I've got to go and, not go anywhere, but I need to look somewhere else to get my information. So, okay, so we're going to talk about your creating your story. And this is Nikki and I don't know, is Kelsey in this too, Nikki? Is it you, Nikki, you, Kelsey, and I? Or was it somebody else?
Yeah, I think it's Kelsey.
Okay, so us three are in this training by Jesse Reagan, and he's teaching us how to build our like pages. And it's an investment in the training, but I hope that through Nikki's investment, my investment, and Kelsey's investment, we'll be able to trickle down the information and help you guys as well. But this is kind of what we've been learning in a nutshell, and there's a lot more, but I'm just going to give you what I know. It helped me a lot, so I'm just going to get started. Okay. So the most successful Beachbody coaches largely achieved their enormously profitable status and stature in the company by sharing their personal experiences. I can vouch for that right now, cutting in, saying our top coaches are being proof of the products day in and day out. So they're not necessarily trying to fit Beachbody into their life. Their life is actually a healthy lifestyle, and they're just sharing that, and the healthy lifestyle is just part of who they are. They don't have to pretend or think of, oh, I need to post this or post that. It's just their life. So if you're struggling with posting, make health and fitness your priority, and everything else will fall into place. Okay, so it's a very different approach than selling as usual. So you have to open up, be totally raw and vulnerable, and let people into your life, guys. Let them see your daily success habits, your daily struggles, your daily breakthroughs, and how you achieved them, which is coincidentally also how you attract and get highly motivated people onto your team. You help them by letting them into your story. They help you by increasing your bottom line. Now, there's a saying that this guy has. He said, the more people you help, the more money you'll make. And you'll help people by letting them into your life, your world, and your Beachbody journey. That's how you become a personal brand. That's how you become an authority in the Beachbody coaching space. And that's how you attract the future team leaders that will explode in your downline. The future team leaders who were inspired by the way you magnetized them into your Beachbody business and wanted nothing more than to learn from you and duplicate what you do. And how amazing will that feel? Like, they're just going to duplicate what you're doing. How validating will it be for you to attract people who into your life and business who want to learn from and work with you and only you? And how fulfilling will it be to build your passive income by simply helping your team of leaders develop a mindset of helping more people? The question is, in the face of wanting or needing to make a lot of money quickly, how do you authentically acquire that somewhat lofty help state of mind? You have to rise above your own personal agenda and circumstances. So step one, you have to rise above your own personal agenda, guys. In other words, sorry, I lost it. It's not going to be about getting there, about chasing the money, no matter how badly you might need it. You have to constantly give people something to get anything in return. And every action you take must come from this foundation and inspiration. Give, 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 give. Step two, you have to know who you're talking with. Who are the people that you want to help, guys? So you're clear about how to best have an effective conversation with, quotes, them, and tap into their biggest pain points, wants, and biggest hopes. This is what your avatar is. I don't know if you guys have heard that avatar, like we used to say, put it in your box, your ideal customer or your ideal coach. It's having a crystal clear picture about who you're talking with. And to find your avatar, there are two main things to look for within yourself. You have to find out the identification factor in you and your story. So this is about giving people a way to see themselves. That's very important. See themselves in your specific challenges and breakthroughs, which it's all backed up by some really cool and inspiring science. Kind of weird, but it's true. So they have to be able to see themselves in your specific challenges and breakthroughs. There's also something that needs to really drive you and your Beachbody quest. That is a specific subject, cause, or result you're passionate about. For instance, if you lost 100 pounds, your story and passion might appeal to people who have a daunting amount of weight to shed. Or maybe you overcame type 2 diabetes and want to reach people who, like you, were also suffering from the disease's horrible symptoms. Or maybe you've overcome insecurities from being bullied when you were younger, or from that horrible divorce that left you floundering. This is what he calls your why. We all know that. When you put those two things together in tandem with your daily Beachbody routine, challenges, and breakthroughs, you'll get transparent insight into the circumstances and emotions that the people you want to attract are experiencing and feeling right now. So from this very instant forward, your only job is keeping learning, sharing, and growing, and letting people watch and feel inspired by your Beachbody journey. When you're ready to discover, So just to summarize that first little segment that he did, like, I'm going to open this up for you guys to tell me what your biggest takeaway just from that is, but I don't know if it's just me and something just clicked there, like that transparent, those factors about those insight factors, like you want to reach to those people and you need to know what they're feeling and reach to their emotions, not the person. And that's a big thing that I took away from it, but I'm curious to see what you guys thought. So You guys can unmute yourself if you have something to add.
I think that's a big one, like them seeing, like basically they have to see themselves in some part of your journey and your story. But that's hard to, you have to be like super, like open about everything.
See, so then the other part, I don't know if he mentions it, it might be in a few more things that I read, but he talks about how there's a couple of ways, and I will go ahead and show you guys my face. There's a couple of ways that you can share your story, a couple of different routes. If you want to share and reach to a specific target audience, then use specific targeting words. Like if you want teachers or baseball wives or whoever you want, you can use that. But if you are talking about the emotion and their feelings, you're going to talk about that more than you are the thing. So for me, when I shared my post that got the most attraction and got people to actually reach out to me, I was saying things like, I felt very sad when I had to do this. And I didn't say, I said like, I loved my job, I loved what I did, but it wasn't fulfilling me because I wanted my family together. So I could have said teaching was great, it was a passion of mine, all this other nonsense stuff about my story, but how are they going to see that if teaching's not their passion? So that's why he's kind of like trying to get you to think about it in a different sense. Are you trying to attract that specific type of person, which is fine if you are, just that's the kind of labeling you use. But if you're not trying to attract a specific type, trigger the emotions more than the story. That makes sense. Talk about your emotions and how you felt. So when you reread it, someone on the other end can say, I'm feeling that same exact way. I need to message her and say, how did you get out of this? So I'm getting goosebumps right there because that just completely changed how I posted. So hopefully that'll help you guys too. And it's not even over. I've got more to share. Does anyone else have anything to say about it? Okay, I'll keep on going. I'm assuming that you guys are just taking frantic notes or hitting Success Club. So either way, we're good. Most people don't realize how valuable their stories are. Likewise, most people don't necessarily realize how sharing their story is the quickest, easiest way to attract new team members into their Beachbody business. The last couple of slides we talked about developing a giving mindset and opening yourself up to share your Beachbody journey, because as a Beachbody coach, your story is the most valuable asset you have to connect with new team members, while also demonstrating how you'll train new team members when they decide to work with you. Okay, so I'm going to stop just right there for a quick second because he talks about when you're getting really passionate into their emotions and really connecting them and like saying, getting them into that like, oh, I'm right there. He's like, then what do you do with them? Do you leave them feeling, oh, I'm right there? Or do you say, and I pulled myself out of this and this is how I feel now and I want to inspire and help other people to pull themselves out of this? Or do we say, and we have a new coaching call happening next week. If you want to jump on, come and like listen to our call. Like we've got to change that to like, we are really digging into their emotions and we're trying to truly change their life. So if we want to help them in that emotional state that we were in, or maybe you're going through right now, you have to provide them a soft way to get out of it. So he was talking about what I just said, like if you can relate to this, I know how it was and I know where I am now and I have the tools to help change what you need. So kind of providing it from that perspective instead of, oh, and you can listen to this call. Okay, I'll continue. So when you're focusing on giving value, always start and end from your own personal experiences. Anytime you're posting, vlogging, or blogging on social media, for example, I have lupus, And every time I push my body in a workout, I feel great right after. But then I might go through a solid week of feeling fatigued, run down, and barely functional. So much so that it gets in the way of living life, making money, or getting to my next workout session. Now ask yourself, how many people are going through the same thing? These are called your identification factors. It's how people see themselves in your experiences. And when people identify with you, they naturally want to know you more. I'll say that again. When people identify with you, they naturally want to know more about you. So they're going to message you. They're going to ask you questions, and they're going to trust you because they identify with you. I'll dive into the science behind the identification factors in the next little segment here. But here's the thing. If you're like most people, you don't see the incredible value that your daily Beachbody experiences will have on people. That's your first step. You have to teach yourself to see how insanely important your story really is. You have to teach yourself to see how insanely important your story really is. Here's why. As I briefly mentioned in the last video, the most effective way to sell is actually sharing your life with potential people. Because the true definition of selling is emotionally connecting with people. So are your posts emotionally connecting with people? That's what makes becoming a Beachbody coach so inspiring and so exciting. You never have to feel like a sleazy used car salesman because you aren't actually selling anyone anything. You're sharing your experience and inviting people to join you in earning a passive income. By constantly bettering yourself with the very best fitness products on the market, that's Selling 101 in 2016, sharing your story. Here's something else that's really important that I need to reiterate. You want to have as many like-minded, passionate people on your team as possible. People who live this stuff just like you. So by attracting new team members with your story, you're demonstrating how they can do the exact same thing, which makes building your business easier, faster, and in total integrity, which I know we all want. So to summarize, step 1, before you make a positive impact in people's lives, you have to emotionally connect with them. You have to help them see themselves in your story. So read that back, guys. Read your next post back. Can someone else see themselves in your story, or are they seeing you as the absolute hero in all of your posts? And you have to share your daily challenges, breakthroughs, and experiences. However, before you can do any of that, you need to be crystal clear on what your story is. As a Beachbody expert coach, you have to feel confident in the value you're offering or presenting, which begins with discovering the hidden value in your story. This actually goes back to what we talked about in the last video. Your why for becoming a Beachbody coach is the first place. Above and beyond just wanting to make more money, I recommend having someone interview you with the questions I provided, which I have not watched. It's the next one. I'm going to finish what he says and maybe he'll mention it in here. Getting interviewed is the single most effective way to get your story to come out. So you have an abundance of so he was saying, get interviewed. Like, even if it's your husband or your friend, whoever you feel comfortable with, and be like, ask me these questions. And I'll post the questions once he gives it to us, but ask me these questions. And you tape it, and then you guys go to Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com, and then you pay someone like $5 to $20 to transcribe the whole freaking 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever it takes. They transcribe it, and then you have your story actually how you would say it. So then you make those into posts, or then you make those things into like, your picture and then like text on it, or just a text, whatever it is, it'll help you connect with people because it's how you talk. So that's what he was saying to do. So it's Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com. So get interviewed. So you have an abundance of old and new material to draw upon all the time, making it easier to post on Facebook multiple times a day. Step 2 is you have to treat your Beachbody coaching as a business, because it is a business, guys, which means you need to keep a constant schedule of new material coming out every day. So get comfortable with being on camera a lot. Again, you have to be completely vulnerable in order to connect with and reach people who will help you earn an amazing passive income. So if being on camera makes you uncomfortable, talk about it. Tell them. That's part of your story. Share it. Use it as a way to connect with people who have the same worries and fears as you. Imagine someone on the other end's like, you know what, I couldn't be a Beachbody coach because I don't like posting. I don't feel comfortable sharing my story. But if you get on and say, look, I don't feel comfortable doing this, but I want to help someone else who's in my same position and share that position, guys, that's going to make them feel like, hey, I maybe can do this. If they can do it, I can do it. And that's what we're here to do, is inspire. So use it as a way to connect with people who have the same worries and fears as you. Also, you might want to start learning how to write copy. Wait, I don't know what he is thinking. I don't know what does that mean? Does anyone know what that means? Okay, moving along. Oh, he was talking about having it transcribed, because it's writing the way you naturally talk. So it'll help you easily reach people with the emotion you're trying to convey and trigger. So when you get interviewed, you're going to talk with emotion and things like that you want to help them trigger in their own stories. Okay. So now I'm going to I'll open it up here just for a second, and then I'm going to talk about how helping you visualize the impact your storytelling has in people's brains. So it's like sciencey stuff. So if you're a science nerd or like all that nerdy stuff, get about ready to talk nerdy to you. I'm on a roll tonight. I don't even listen to music. Okay. Anyone else have any insight or anything to add to this stuff or feedback or what you guys are thinking?
Can I ask a question? Is this
Sure.
an okay time to do that?
Absolutely.
So one of the things that I guess that like I've been struggling with is like how to like talk about like your struggles and things like that when like you're still dealing with them, you know, like, because I'm not to that, like, I'm just at the starting point. So like, I'm not anywhere where it's like, you know, like this is helping me in that direction, but I'm not there yet. So like, how do you talk about that like process?
So here's the thing that I learned, and I just learned this like a couple of months ago. So I have faith is a huge part of my life. Jesus is a big part of my life. So what I did was Jerry and I went through a huge, huge struggle, and I let people know as soon as it happened, like the next day, what had happened. And I said, I don't know all the answers, but I'm trusting that God's going to carry me through this, and I'm going to get through this, and you're welcome to join me and see how it happens. Or you're welcome to follow me and see what great things come from it and how our lives change from this. And it was like an open book to say, look, I don't have all the answers. I don't know all of it, but that's not going to keep me from not pressing forward farther. So if you can think of it in your fitness journey and like say, you know, a lot of people are stuck and a lot of people are scared to take that first step. And I'm taking that first step and I'm failing constantly every day, but each small step is a step forward. And and when I look back, I see my old self and I see how far I'm coming, and I look forward and I see how far I have to go. And I'm excited. I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about the friendships I'm making. I know where I'm going is getting me on track, whether I'm there or not. I'm never arrived. We're never arrived. So talking and telling your people, because I feel so many people are just like chill, right where they all are in life. They're cool. They're fine. I'll take my diabetes. I'll take my meds. I'll take no paycheck. I'll take dropping the kids off when I really want to be home with them. I'll take it. I'm right here. I'm just coping with life. And you're bringing a hope that maybe they don't even have in their news feed. So I think it's a great place to start, to just be like, look, y'all, I'm not perfect. Far from it, but I'm going forward. So, and I think Michaela is another one that, Rachel, you guys do that really well. You're like, shoot, I'm going to eat my Oreos. I'm going to eat my chocolate cake, but that's not, like, I'm still busting my butt. Like, Rachel is family laughing at you. Rachel doesn't eat Oreos and chocolate cake. No, she has beer, I think. That's your treat, right? So I'm just saying, like, it's about life and just being about, like, open and vulnerable to you. Like, there's no right or wrong way. Alex being vulnerable looks a lot different than Rachel being vulnerable. And when we decide that something that we are, like, I'm crazy and goofy and I like to be crazy and goofy like that, and I know Melanie would be right next to me, right by my side, acting crazy and goofy with me. Nikki looks at us weird and laughs because it's hysterical to her, but she's not going to be like that crazy. So even though we're not the same people, we still love each other dearly. So when you're sharing your journey, you can know that something that's really you and really crazy and that you're, like, afraid to share with people, that's going to discourage people from you. Of course. That's going to make them like, oh, I don't want to follow her. I don't know what's wrong with her. Like, whoo-wee, like, scrolling and keep scrolling on, and they'll, like, be like, I'll pray for you, sister, like, whatever. But that same thing that causes people to keep scrolling will cause that one person to stop. And they'll be like, wow, you just changed my life. So know that just because someone might keep scrolling doesn't mean that you're not letting that one person stop and feel for the first time that they're understood. So yes, you're going to lose people, but you're going to change a life in the meantime because you're being a voice for people that don't normally speak up for it.
That was super helpful. Yeah, that was perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Alex, you're smiling. What do you have to say?
Nothing. Is just your passion is just making me very passionate.
Yay!
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna keep going, all right? Because I don't know how much storage I have left on this computer of mine. Okay, so stories are the backbone of human existence, guys. They connect us. They bring us closer together. They are inspiring, and they inspire us to achieve something more, something better, something different. In fact, other people's breakthroughs push and inspire us to overcome our own self-imposed limitations. Holy cow, yes, that's absolutely right. Other people's breakthroughs, especially ones that we're close to, they push us and inspire us to overcome our own self-imposed limitations. So for me, I'm wondering, you guys are just saying, look, your passion, like, that's inspiring me. You just said that, like, right now. Now, if I'm doing that for you, now you get to go do that for somebody else, and you're going to inspire someone else that has those imposed limitations on themselves. I'll give you an example that most of us are aware of to one degree or another. Jesus. Now, the story of Jesus is told in many different ways, but at its core, it's a tale of about what's truly possible. And it's a story that has a single-handedly motivated billions of people to literally devote their lives to him. His story has universally inspired people for hundreds of years to see themselves in his struggles and his breakthroughs. Now, but if I look at the story and teachings of Jesus objectively, without the politics, I cannot help but be inspired by how he captured the imagination of so many people for so many years. That's an amazing thing. Then he gives a story of Katniss Everdeen from the Hunger Games. I have no idea about Hunger Games. Maybe you do. Totally different, I guess. Jesus and Katniss are not probably the same or close to the same. Nobody compares to Jesus, guys. Just nobody. Not even Katniss. But movies can easily capture the imagination of people, Alex, as real life stories. Katniss' journey of rising above evil and dictatorship has inspired millions of young women to discover their own inner heroine. But why? Why do stories work? Why do they inspire us to do things we'd never try? Without their influence, well, In the last couple of videos, I talked about giving potential Beachbody coaches the chances to see themselves in your story so they can feel inspired by your challenges and breakthroughs and want to follow your lead. And the reason stories work is because of a specific type of brain cell called mirror neurons. Anyone know about these mirror neurons? Mirror neurons literally force us to imagine ourselves in the story we're watching or hearing. Think about the last time like you watched a chick flick. Don't lie and say you thought, oh, that's me, or that would just be so amazing if that happened to me, that connection or whatever it is. That's your mirror neurons forcing you to imagine yourself in that story. Or if someone's on vacation on the beach with their toes in the sand and you like your toes in the sand besides Patience. I know Patience is on. She does not like sun. Think cold weather, Patience. You imagine yourself there, and that's why you get jealous, right? Because you're not there and you can't be there. I mean, how many times did you imagine you were the lead character in a movie? Or how many times have you jammed out to music in your car pretending you're the lead singer? Interesting. In essence, your mirror neurons are how you identify with other people's circumstances and stories, which means as a Beachbody coach, understanding mirror neurons is extremely important. Here's why. You get to choose the identification factors you focus on in your story, which also means you get to choose who your avatar is. For example, I talked about having lupus in the last video and using that as an identification factor to help people who connect with my story. But maybe that's not part of my story I want to focus on the most. Maybe I want to use lupus as the thing I'm trying to overcome. You guys understand that? Using your certain label as the thing that you're trying to overcome. So I connect with people who are also having something they're trying to overcome. Get it? He's not labeling the actual lupus. He's using it as the thing that he's trying to overcome, because everyone's trying to overcome something. In other words, I can focus on attracting people with lupus or other autoimmune diseases and use my story to bring them into my business. Or I can use lupus as a broader, here's my why, what's yours kind of thing. You get to choose how you reach and connect with people. You get to choose your own personal branding and your why for being a Beachbody coach, which is a big part of what differentiates you from each and every other Beachbody coach. You get to choose your avatar by focusing on the parts of your story you want potential team members to identify with, so they're inspired to work with you and only you. Now, I hope you're paying attention, because getting as specific as you possibly can about your avatar will make it infinitely easier to reach them, connect with them, and turn more hot leads into your best performers. And every day is an important opportunity to reveal something about yourself that will draw those people deeper into your life and your brand and help them see themselves in your story. So with that in mind, what aspects of your story do you want to focus on and why? What aspects of your story do you want to focus on and why? Do you want to focus on a specific health problem you might have and are actively trying to overcome, like lupus or another autoimmune disease? Do you want to focus on specific goals like losing a predetermined amount of weight? Do you want to focus on overcoming financial limitations and demonstrate your journey towards achieving abundance and freedom? Maybe your why is to retire your husband or your wife. Maybe your why is financial. Maybe your why is to beat a destructive food addiction. The bottom line is your why matters. It's what determines who your avatar is. Your why determines who your avatar is. So you don't take your avatar and then decide your why. Your why to working this business determines your avatar. And how you enter the conversation already happening in your avatar's mind, so you can maximize the emotional connection you make with new leads and convert them into your top team members. And your story is what spoon feeds your why into people's lives. How crazy, right? Like, we don't have to force anything. Our story is already telling people the why of why we're doing this. So they want to work with you and only you. Okay, so you've made an emotional connection with people by opening up, being vulnerable, and you have drawn your potential leads into your personal brand. You've inspired these new prospects to see themselves in your story and triggered their common desire to want and expect more out of life. You've got them thinking about bettering themselves and following in your footsteps. But how are you going to leverage the interest you've riled up? Here's the deal. Telling your story and creating an emotional connection with new potential team members is only half the battle, because now you've got to get these future leads to do something, like inquiring more about what you do. How do you get started, and how can they get started with you? Quickly before I share about that, I want to talk about something called brand equity. Now, brand equity is when you have given so much to a certain group of people or made such a big impact in people's lives that they can ask you for something back without feeling like you're a sleazy used car salesperson. After all, this is a business, and without eventually giving people a call to action, your business will never grow. In fact, one of the biggest mistakes you can make, a mistake that even the best digital marketers make, is not asking for prospects to take some sort of action. Even if it's just liking your post. So while you always want to genuinely come from the giving mindset and helping people get what they want, you are ultimately offering value. So you can inspire people to take specific action and join your team. With that in mind, there's one more thing I want to quickly bring up. You see, I don't ever want you to feel like a sleazy salesperson. You're not. Not when you're coming from your authenticity, your strong belief in the Beachbody products, and genuinely wanting to help people better their lives. Because yes, what you're offering people is the chance at a healthy, happier life and potentially more abundant reality. However, you always have to remember, it's not your responsibility to guarantee people you attract onto your team will achieve certain benchmarks of success, like earning 5 figures a month or losing 20 pounds or getting 6-pack abs. All you can do is bring them into your business and offer up as much guidance as they ask for. So yes, the purpose of telling your story is to transition the conversation to talk about what I want as your prospect and get me addicted to the idea of bettering my life and making money in the process. By the way, when I say addicted, I mean it. Here's why. Storytelling is archetypal. Don't know that word. I'm only a kindergarten teacher. And when you're talking about achieving something that your prospects desperately and passionately want, it taps into the underdog archetype. Is that what the word is? Gosh, whatever. Archetype.
Archetype.
Ugh, archetype. Stupid English. And makes people want to fight for what they really want out of life. So tapping into their underdog self, guys. This trigger is a chemical called dopamine in people. This triggers a chemical called dopamine in people's brains, which makes them strive to achieve the reward you're helping them hold in their minds. So when you're talking about everything you went through and how you overcome, it further cements how radically people see themselves in you and your story. And again, when you've achieved getting people to see themselves in your story, you're telling you need to give them something to do with all of that emotion and dopamine so they can be victorious. You're going to be constantly engaging people to have a deeper conversation with you about self-development, how we change our bodies, our minds, our finances, our lives, and how they can get involved with you and Beachbody to make it all a reality. So let me just sum all of that up. There's a time for just giving people value and building your personal brand. And there's also a time to ask people to take specific action. You should always be doing both. So how? How do you go from telling your story to asking me for my email Here's how. Step 1, choose a part of your story that you want to share. It could be about your weight. It could be about what you're feeling, a sense of purpose in your life. It could be wanting to retire your spouse. Doesn't matter. Just choose something that you're passionate about. Step 2, you have to put the story into context to explain your why for being a Beachbody coach. For example, I spent 7 years suffering from mystery symptoms that destroyed my health and my life. I ended up gaining 30 pounds, dealt with mind-blowing fatigue, and watched helplessly as my family fell apart. I didn't even know who I was anymore. I couldn't work. I couldn't play. And the fear that came with feelings of powerlessness consumed me. I'm going to read these again. Think about like what he's saying here. I spent 7 years suffering from mystery symptoms. Anybody can relate, no matter if they're dealing with any kind of health issues. They can relate with that. That destroyed my health and my life. So they can think, okay, has my life been destroyed by something? And ended up gaining 30 pounds. They can say, oh, I gained weight. Dealt with mind-blowing fatigue. Oh, I've been tired before. And watched helplessly as my family fell apart. Yep, my families fell apart before. I'm not saying me, guys. I'm just saying like your avatar can relate to that. You're not pointing out specific things about your story. I didn't even know who I was anymore. I couldn't work. I couldn't play. And the fear that came with feeling of powerless consumed me. How many people are trapped there? That's like its own why right there. The worst part was I didn't know how to stop it. Right there. Didn't know how to stop it. And the feeling of powerlessness, watching your life fall apart right before your eyes, isn't something I'd wish on my worst enemy. Well, I was finally diagnosed with lupus, or you could say I was finally diagnosed with a terrible disease, whatever you guys want to say. I had a name to what ailed me. But no matter what I did, I still needed to heal from it and take my life back. And not only did I achieve all of my goals of dumping those extra 30 pounds, completely changing my attitude and rising above my lupus symptoms, but I also discovered my passion for health and fitness. So that's an example of a story part. Of course, now you have to transition your story into an offer. You have to give people a call to action, something like, after healing and continuing to heal, I couldn't go back to my normal life. My passion for health and fitness took me in a new direction, and now I'm helping other people just like you and me to take our lives back from autoimmune diseases. And if someone connects with that, your inbox is going to be blowing up with people like, how did you do it? What did you do? Like, you don't have to say anything else other than that. But you can say something like, so if you've tried everything to take your life back from diseases like lupus and you're still looking for a way to feel like you again, I'd love to work with you. Sure, maybe there's no cure for these diseases, but hey, that doesn't mean we can't feel 100% better and spit in the face of our symptoms. Like, that's empowering. That's the underdog, like, I will conquer you, lupus, or whatever the struggle is. So now keep in mind, that's just one possible way to frame my story. And here's the thing. Even when you've discovered a way to frame your story that gets you leads and new team members, you're still always testing different ways to put your story out there, which includes always building on your story each and every day to demonstrate exactly how you live this stuff and continue to blast through the challenges that come your way. Likewise, there are many different types of offers you can put in front of them. So like the free things that we all do. But the point is, you're never at a loss for what to say or having new content to put out. But you do need to be clear to clearly see and feel the value in your own story for any of this to work. Bottom line, as a Beachbody coach, your story, your challenges, and your breakthroughs are the most valuable tools you have to attract new team members. But it's all about how you frame your story and enter the conversation happening in people's mind. So when you sit down to write anything, first figure out, what is my ideal team member feeling and experiencing right now? What are they feeling and experiencing right now? what circumstance can I talk about to trigger those feelings? What circumstances can I talk about to trigger those feelings? How can I leverage those feelings and ask people to take a specific action? I'm almost done here, guys. What do my ideal team members really want, and how can I help them get there? Not rocket science, right? It's not. And yet, tapping into people's circumstances and emotion is one of the biggest challenges you have ahead of you. So be easy on yourself and ask a lot of questions. And then make sure you get that interview done if you can. And that is pretty much it. Pretty powerful stuff, right, guys? I hope you're never the same. You guys can all unmute yourself if you want, but I hope that you see this business never the same again, because it's sharing. And we always said sharing, but what does that actually mean? You're like really connecting into people's emotions. So that's a lot of talking, girls. Anyone have anything to say or add?
Thank you for sharing with us. That was really powerful. So we appreciate you, investing and then taking the time to share it with us.
No problem. And once I get the interview one watched, I think it's the last one I need to watch still, the questions, I will let you guys, I'll either type them out or do whatever I need to get those in there. So if you're thinking like, gosh, like, do I talk differently on social media than I would in person? He said to think of that person, your avatar, sitting down on the couch in front of you and like talking to them like a best friend, like what you're going through right now. And then that kind of will trigger the emotions of what you're feeling. So.
Okay, this is going to sound really dumb, but I sort of did that the other day, but I just put on my photo booth on my computer. This is going to sound so dumb, and I just like talked to myself, and it was like a 40-minute long thing, and I just like talked to myself, but like about what I was thinking and with Beachbody and like all that kind of stuff, because whenever I get like in my head and I can't think, and my husband's not here right now to talk to, so I talk to the computer. And this sounds so weird, but I watched it yesterday. I did it a couple days ago, and thinking about it right now, like there's stuff I can take from it and use. So I mean, that's just something you can try. I know it sounds weird to talk to yourself.
I guess it's not really, Alex, because it's no different than writing in a journal.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you write the same exact thoughts like down, so you're just speaking those thoughts down.
Yeah, that's true.
You're not that weird. That's a really good idea.
You're not that weird, Alex. Just a little weird.
She is a little weird.
Just a little.
Like she's a little quirky. That's what makes Alex Alex. I like that. That like little kind of like bashful, like coming out every once in a while and snapping you and then jumping back in. Good idea though. Like if you're going through something serious or big, you're just talking it out and then you have that to go back through. That's good. Anyone else? I know it's been about an hour call of me talking about all this stuff, so.
It was really good stuff, Tiffany. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm going to stop the